Hello, welcome everybody to the 75mm gun motor carriage M3 half-track review. So here I am MisterJoy. Today we have Mr. Sigmar as one of our experts who will review with me on the 75mm GMC. Okay, a little bit of history of the 75mm GMC. So for the opening stages of World War II, the American military leaders realized that they didn't have any adequate anti-tank weaponry, unlike the German army, which as they have the Stug as their anti-tank. But most of them have only artillery shots. So the army developed a M3 half-track and placed 75mm French gun onto it. So the experimental vehicle was called the T-12. From 1941 to 1943, they boomed up its production and produced about 2,202 units of half-tracks 75mm. But it only resulted into 842 units that is seen into combat service. So the armies that took the 75mm GMC was the British. We have also the French people and the Philippine army that is used against the Japanese invasion. On the British tech tree before, it was known as the 75mm SP Autocar. And as I said earlier, it is used by the Philippine forces because the US supplied us with it, and it is used against Japanese and also the Korean War by the Philippine Expeditionary Force. So we're done now with the history, so we're going to be talking about a little bit of the statistics of the 75mm gun motor carriage. So we're going to have Mr. Sigmar for his expert's review on the 75mm. Go ahead, Sigmar.
Okay, basically from War Thunder, according to this, the vehicle guidance is -10 degrees to 29 degrees. Reloading rate is 11.9 seconds. Now the hull armor is 666, turret armor is 666, armament penetration is 107, 90, 74, at a distance of about 100 meters, 500 meters, and 1,000 meters. It's a TD, which means if you know and think about TDs, you do not tend to go right up to the front of the battle. You tend to go from behind, from a distance, basically.
Well, talk about the people on the M18, which is a little bit higher tier than the tank destroyer 75mm. They like to go really on the front lines, but this tank doesn't want to go front lines.
This tank, try not to keep it at the front lines or near the front lines, as it just does not have the armor. It can stop about a 7.92mm round, maybe deflect up to about 12.7mm, as long as it's from the front, but it's just not good fighting up front. It doesn't have the armor.
Well, if you see an enemy, better run away.
Basically, yeah. But if for some reason you do find yourself up front, if you use the M61 shells, they're deadly. At close range, at about 500 meters or closer, the M61 rounds are extremely deadly, as it's got extra heat charges.
And as for its turret rotation, it has 30 degrees to the left and right, which can be used into sharp edges, taking out an enemy at close distance range.
True, but the turret rotation speed is, well, for 2.0 it's actually not too bad.
Well, talk about the maximum speed of it, which is 83 kilometers per hour, but its engine power is that slow, which is 147 horsepower. But it can go fast in a straight line, but when turning you may have drift sometimes, and maybe you don't want to be really on the high speed because you don't want your crew to be exposed to the enemy.
True, but if you're going at high speeds with this, which good luck, you can normally get up to about 40 k's, maybe 45 before you have to stop.
Yeah, true.
You don't want to turn at high speeds because not only because of the drift, but you've got a high chance of actually flipping the tank. And once this tank is flipped, it is very difficult in the middle of battle to actually unflip it.
Alright, we're gonna be talking now about the pros and cons of the 75mm GMC. For the pros, we have a good cannon that is good for its BR 2.0. It can take out many of the German vehicles and Japanese vehicles and, of course, Russian vehicles. It is also good at sharp edges, which is what it has its good turret range or turret rotation, I should say. And for its mobility wise, not bad. 83 kilometers per hour at horsepower of 147 horsepower. And as for its cons, Mr. Sigma?
Okay, for the cons, there is actually quite a number of cons with this tank destroyer. New players will find it very difficult as it's not played like a normal TD, nor is it played like a normal tank. Most things will destroy it, or at least go through it. It's very vulnerable to, well, any tank, aircraft, or artillery. The commander and loader are in line with each other when viewed from the front, so one shot can take both of them out normally. It's got a slow reload speed for its battle rating, which I think is about 11.3 seconds. The traverse speed for the cannon is really bad, so make sure you line up where you want to actually shoot. The driver and commander are both exposed, and like I said, once again, limited traverse for the cannon. It's about 30 degrees on either side. About 30 degrees on either side. So you have to be pointing frontwards to be able to get a shot off. And it's got no machine guns like most TDs at that battle rating. So you've only got your main gun.
And that's it for our 75mm GMC review. Also, thanks to Mr. Sigmar, the one and only for the Art of Warfare War Thunder Division. And support me on Patreon at TAWMisterJoy on Patreon. Follow me also on Twitter at TAWMisterJoy. I also have YouTube videos, so please check it out. And as again, take your head up high, think on the game, and see you on the battlefield, everyone. Thank you.